This is going to be a short illustration, and I'll explain afterwards what I mean with it. One day there was this fire in an office building in town. So when the firefighters got the call that there's a fire in an office building, they didn't care which company it was, they didn't care who those people were, whether criminals or not. They were firefighters, and they have vowed themselves that they will do whatever there is in their power to save human lives when there's a fire. So they went out, and indeed there was fire. There was a lot of fire, and it took them almost all night to extinguish the fire. So afterwards, the detectives came to investigate the case, and one of the one of the detectives found out that that office building has been empty for almost 4 months. So he began to ask, where are the employees? So they found out that there are 5 companies operating in that office building, but most of those companies, they had no money traffic for the past year. So this was quite strange. So one of the companies was settled over there had 3 employees. And those 3 employees were told by their boss to go on a holiday for the next 2 weeks. And it's in the 3rd day, when they had their forced holiday, that that fire occurred. And their employer was nowhere to be found. So the police began to interrogate those 3 employees. And the police found out that the employers were being used by the employees were being used by the employer. And they also found out that that employer was involved with human trafficking, that he was really using that company and those 3 employees as a cover-up for the money he was earning through human trafficking. So the fire in that office building was a distraction by that employer, not only him. There were more people involved in human trafficking, or I would say forced prostitution, and they used those companies in that office building as a cover-up. And they had insurance. So now that the building was burned down, they would receive insurance money. So the police told those 3 employees to look for another job and to never contact that former employer again. Now look, about those firefighters, that's how many believers are. When an issue occurs, they walk by faith. They're not going to cry, they're not becoming depressed, they're not going to become hysterical, they're not going to deny and avoid. They walk by faith. They are firefighters. Their mentality is, when there's something going on, we're going to use faith to overcome it. If it's a demon operating behind the scenes, or it's a hex, a spell, or a sickness, whatever, we walk by faith to deal with the issue. And there's nothing wrong with that. I praise that type of behavior of believers. Believers walk by faith and act out without fear. I agree with that. Just understand the following. Sometimes the enemy will distract you with minor issues here and there, maybe 2 or 3 issues. He will distract you with them so that you won't see what else the enemy is doing. It can be that you often have fights with your wife, and you and your wife both want this to end, so you go into therapy. But here's the thing. While you were figuring out why you and your wife had marriage issues, relatives of your wife has gone missing. She lately got involved in a cult without being aware of it, and now she's not there anymore. So what was happening? The enemy, in order to not notice that he was drawing that relative away into destruction, he distracted you both with marriage issues, and you were not aware that it was the enemy working over there. Because if you would have been aware of it, you wouldn't even gone into therapy, because you would have known it's a paranormal attack. So understand this. The enemy doesn't just only attack, especially if you're growing in faith, because he knows he's in trouble. So he will distract you with minor issues so that you won't see the big thing he's doing. Now, don't blame yourself if you've been distracted, because there's nothing wrong on your part. You're walking by faith. You were just misled, and everyone can be misled. Okay? The fact that you are not the Most High, that you don't know everything, and you have limited information to your disposal means you can be misled. You can be deceived. Don't blame yourself. That's a trap. Just keep on walking by faith and learn from it. The enemy will often distract you with minor things, and those things are relevant things. He will distract you with minor relevant things, so that the big thing that's happening, you don't even notice is happening. Well, that being said, be at peace, keep walking by faith.